Okay, hello everyone. I'm here working on a Bunn CWTF coffee brewer. They said it was leaking, but what I noticed was it's actually boiling over, and then the water's just spewing out. So I tried to go live with this video, but it really wasn't working out. I couldn't get a good position with the camera, so I'm just going back over this just to see if I could be able to post it up for those who may have been trying to watch it live. It just didn't work out. But right now what I'm doing is I have the high limit. This is the high limit switch, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect one side and I'm gonna test across the high limit. I believe this high limit is bad, and that's why it's not cutting out in time and it's causing it to boil over. So I'm just going to get the terminals off. It's a pretty brittle, so I'm just trying to take it easy and get the terminal off without causing more damage. So there we go. So now I got the terminal off. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna take a ohms reading, continuity reading across that. See how that looks. Yeah, we got an open line. So that's what's happening. This high limit is faulty. It's not cutting the heater circuit out. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that, and I'm going to replace the thermal fuse. I'll show you the thermal fuse once I get it. Pretty sure I still have some, these parts in my truck, so I'll go ahead and replace this stuff today. Then we can get it heated back up. And yeah, it seems like this has been boiling over for a while, or at least getting build up, because the high limit is all rusted in here. There we go. Okay, so that's the high limit. You can see how rusty it is and damaged. So I'm gonna replace that, and then this right here is the thermal fuse. You can see that is it's giving a good reading, but with the looks of it, I'm gonna go ahead and change it out. Okay, so right now I am in the process of putting in the new high limit switch, and I'm not sure if you can see, but this little clip right here, this is kind of like it's just a metal holder. You lift it up slightly, and be careful, because on top of this tank is very hot, so just be careful getting it back in. Now you can see it's back in place right there. Unfortunately, I do not have a new thermal fuse to replace this with, so I'm gonna have to use this current one that they have. Just putting that back in place. I've already tested it, and it does test good, but I was just gonna replace it because it looks kind of brittle. But this will do. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go back around to the front and check this out and see if it's still overheating. Okay, I'm back in the front section of the brewer right here. I'm just plugged it in and I'm letting it heat up. And once it gets up to temperature, I should be able to tell if it's okay now. As you can see, it's right now it's reading a temp of 168. So just going to give it a few moments, let it heat up, and then I'll dispense a pot just to see how well it's doing, if it's filling to the right level and everything. But while I'm at it, let me just show you a couple of things in here on the inside. As you can see right here, we're on the temp. Looks like it is still boiling over. Give me 1 second. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I ended up having to replace this light switch right here. Let me try to see if I could give you a look at that. This light switch, it connects to the heater circuit back here. Apparently there was a short in the light switch also. So I went ahead and replaced that light assembly out, or lamp assembly, and I also replaced the thermostat assembly too. You can see down here is where I put the new thermostat in. And right now I have it all the way to the right and a little bit back, just a hair back. I usually don't keep it all the way peeked out to the right side. I just bring it all the way to the right and then bring it back just a hair. And right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put the water pan back on, and I'm gonna put the inlet water tube back into place that goes into this water pan. But in order to get at these things, I had to take the water pan nut. Have to take the water pan nut off. Let me see if I can show that to you real quick. Just give me a second, because I don't want to hit anything. We'll see. This nut right here, this nut holds this pan in place, and usually there Bunn does provide a tool for removing that for removing this nut, but I usually use like a small like a 9/16 wrench, and then I get into the crevice, into that opening right there. I get in there with that, and then I turn it like that. That way, because some of these have been sitting in there for a long time, so they're pretty much, stuck in there. So this is a good way to be able to get that off of there. Also, the thing I noticed is that there's also a seal that goes on the back of this, on the bottom of this. I mean, right there. There should be like a seal that goes over that threaded area to prevent the water from leaking in. So I'm gonna go out and just see if I can get a seal for that. It's kind of like an O-ring. gonna get that and then put that on also while I'm here, because that keeps the water from leaking from between the pan and this opening right here. So that's something else that will be needed, and I'll put that on, and then we'll come back and do a brew cycle, and then we should be all set. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I just wanted to show you here the gaskets that go on this water pan. There's a small gasket right here where the water tube, the inlet water tube, fits through. Then there's a gasket that I was talking about down below, underneath, that goes on that mounting screw. And then I also put there's a small stainless steel gasket or plate that goes underneath it also from the top. So you have one on top, and then you have one on the bottom. And then that will help ensure that there won't be any leakage during a fill cycle or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this put in, get it set up to brew, and then we'll brew a cycle and see how we do. Everything looks good right now. It's not boiling over, and temperature is set, and the ready light is activated. I just want to show you that this is how the setup should look once you have the water pan in. Okay, the nut is tightened down. My inlet water tube is in. This bracket also holds this water tube in place. So this bracket, it does pull on, push on and pull off. I just pushed it on just now, so that's in place too. And then right now I'm just going to go ahead and see if we can brew a cycle. Turn on the power switch, press start, and then that should brew through one cycle. And what's happening now is the water is coming in through this inlet valve right here, and then it's feeding through this inlet line, and then the cold water comes in and pours into the tank, and then that creates like a siphon mode. So while that water is pushing in, the hot water is pushing up inside the tank and then out of the spray head, which is coming through this funnel right here. A thing I like to do also is I like to, while it's brewing, I'll come around the back, and then I try to take a look down underneath that inlet tank, that water tank. So I take a look underneath that, and then if you had a leak, you would be able to see it from here. So you can always, just come to the back and then take a look. I'm seeing no leaks, so we're looking good so far. Okay, so as you can see, I have the unit is dispensing now. My temp reading is good, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let that go ahead and continue brewing, and just making sure that the temperature is where it should be, and that looks good. Okay, so I did that brew cycle, and it did complete, but it was a little over. So I'm gonna do a calibration on it. I'm just gonna decrease it by a few seconds, and I'll show you how to do that. What I usually do, you see this green board, that's the brew time, that's the brew timer board. So that orange switch right there's an orange switch, and right now it's in the down position. I don't know if you can see it that well. Let me try to get in there a little bit. Right now it's in the lock position, down, and up is the set position. So I'm going to push that up. I'm going to push that switch up, and then we'll be able to go into the program mode and then program this unit for the proper brew cycle. And now we have that switch, that timer switch in the set position. So I'm going to go into, I'm into the program, but what I'm going to do is, what you have to do is, to decrease the amount of water, you have to press the start button, and then once that starts, you let go, and then you press it again, then you press it again, and then you press it again, and then you hold it, and then there's going to be 3 clicks. 1, 2, 3, and then you release it, and now that should set the level that I wanted at, because I wanted to take 6 seconds off of the time. So I'm going to go ahead and watch it, and then we'll see where it ends up at. Okay, that brew cycle has completed, and we look pretty good. Looks real good. So let me just go back over what I did here, because my phone was ringing and I kind of got distracted. But I moved this, the red switch, the brew timer switch, the set and lock. I moved that switch into the set position, and then I came back up here, and then I started the calibration by pressing in on the start button. And I already knew I needed to decrease the water level, so the water had overflowed just a little bit out of the pot on that that first brew cycle. So I knew I had to come down about between 4 to 6 seconds. So when I pressed this and activated the calibration mode, once you press that button, to decrease it, you would keep pressing the button one time. Just press and release, press and release, press and release. And each time that you press and release, you're deducting 2 seconds off of the time. So I did it 3 times. I pressed and released 3 times, and then that averages 6 seconds. So I took 6 seconds off of the brew time, and now I have a good level of water. So now when they brew, they don't have to worry about the pot overflowing or anything. So this also, in turn of replacing those parts that we replaced the lamp, the high limit switch in the back, and then I replaced this thermostat right here. And then on top of that, it needed to be recalibrated. So it's all recalibrated now, and what I'll probably do now is go ahead and brew a pot of coffee just so that they could see that it's working. I'll put the back cover on and put the top cover on, and then we'll be all set. Just as a reminder that after you have completed the calibration of a unit and you got your levels all set, you'll want to go ahead and put this switch into that switch there. You want to put that switch into the lock position. So press down on it and then make sure it's in the lock position. I just wanted to bring that up because sometimes if these boards are left in the set position, it won't stick to the level that you set it at. It'll for some reason it loses the memory, and then it reverts back to the old setting. So I always make sure to put that switch back into the lock position. All right, everybody, that's it for now, and I'll see you on the next job. Thank you. Bye-bye.